There's a girl I know who can't stand her own face. She thinks she's ugly, but I know she's lovely, this girl who fears her own reflection, who, on reflection, is every girl. Her voice is soft as falling waves, but sharp as sudden rocks. She cannot tell you who she is, but only what she's not. So she says she'll never be perfect, never change enough, never lose weight. And she says that her life isn't worth it, that she'll always be second-rate. And I want to send her poetry, where her spaces are stretch marks at the tip of my tongue, silver as starlight and just as sweet a taste. I will scrawl on waste paper that love is the place where her eyes meet her gaze and hold steady. That she'll be ready to stand if she can hold her own hand, and that I understand it's not easy. But you start a revolution when you hold your head high, the power of protest pumping at the meeting of your thighs. So give the world a twirl when you meet judgmental eyes and say, I'm gorgeous, because you're gorgeous. Every last one of you. Say it till you know it's true. Say it for the girl who can't look at herself, who says she's photo shy because she can't begin to try to explain that if a lasting image of her face remains, you might realize that she doesn't look right. Rage, rage against the dying of the light bodies, large bodies, black, brown and white, the trans women's deaths that are kicked out of sight. Rage against the dying of skin, the desire to be thin at any cost. Rage against the self-love that women have lost, and then take back what's rightfully yours. Take control. Take back birthmarks and moles. Take back arms, take back legs, take back hands, take back feet, and then take your whole body to meet a mirror. You'll see yourself clearer through eyes that you own. You'll come home to yourself in that moment. And though the world cannot change overnight, and people still jeer out of self-hate and fear, and existing can feel like a fight, know that your heart is the victor, and your body's the prize that you win, when your eyes catch a smile in the mirror, and you love yourself outside and in. I always try and do a new one every time I perform, which is going to be a bit tricky because I'm doing another gig next weekend for Survivors Network, which you should all come to. It's next Sunday. So I might end up having to do this as my new one at that as well, but it's called Bloody Hell, and it's kind of fun. I have blood on my hands. I can't hide it. I'm no pilot, no hand-wringing wife of kings, so let me begin. I have blood on my hands. Understand, I don't need a sink to suffer over, scrubbing the skin. There's no sin to confess unless this is a sin, this body I'm in, and some would have it be that way. Flush of a blush spreading as I'm waiting to pay, sanitary towels tucked away beneath magazines, because apparently bleeding makes us unclean, but 50 ways to treat yourself like shit that'll leave your boyfriend gagging for it is healthy. Fuck being stealthy. Find the line between shame and pride and sheer indifference, and it makes no sense to me to suffer this tension. So social convention be damned, I have blood on my hands. I will stand tall and leave bloody handprints on the bathroom wall in protest and to scare guests. I will bleed on planes until they can explain to me why tampons are a fucking luxury. I will offer a seat to each girl I meet and say, mine makes me cry sometimes, how about you? I will break this taboo if it kills me, because I still see the same terrors spread. Even adverts can't show blood as red, and the products they sell now are scented. Who invented this new layer of fear, as if people can smell that you're near when you're bleeding? We don't need this. My period's not a gross girl thing that teenage boys won't understand. If they think now that cunts are disgusting, how will they behave when they're a man? And what of boys with monthly cycles, who start their lives as Jane but know they're John? Is calling moon cups women's hygiene really vital? Don't they deserve a world where they belong? So this is my period poem, a crimson canvas, an ode to the pain and pleasure the bloody thing brings me. There is blood on my hands, but no shame. I would end with this one. It's called If You See Me. It's one that I did at Slutwalk London in 2011 and at Reclaim the Night Exeter a few years ago. But I'll probably still make a mistake, so there's always time. I've done well so far. Okay, If You See Me. When I see a man approach and I cast down my eyes, I'm not laying down a hand, I'm not looking for a prize. It's just a force of habit, this avoiding the male glance, because it isn't worth the trouble and it isn't worth the chance of them thinking that I'm actively giving them the eye and not simply acknowledging a fellow passerby. And no, I don't know what they're thinking, but I know what men have thought, and I live by my experiences and the lessons I've been taught. In a society where one such glance could put me in great danger, I'd rather look down at the floor than smile at a stranger. And in this tragedy of modern times where every man's a threat and every woman on her own is clearly asking for it, I fight and fucking fight to keep my head held high. So if I'm not catching your glances, I'll be looking at the sky. Because I've seen the way things could be and I've seen the way things are, and there's nothing nice or wholesome about murder, rape or war, and there's absolutely nothing fair about the lack of equal pay, or the fact that thousands of women are assaulted every day, and all that's running through my mind as I walk down the street. So don't judge me if I look away, and if our eyes should meet, just ask yourself how you would feel before you turn to shout. If you were always half afraid of men when you went out, just ask yourself how you would feel if every single day when you went to the wardrobe or you walked a certain way, you had to wonder what a judge would say about your skirt, and whether if you wear those heels you're asking to get hurt, and whether you should have a drink or stick with lemonade because you know how many women every minute are betrayed by someone they thought they could trust, or who they have just met, and whether you can go outside and have a cigarette without dealing with the banter from the usual drunk lout, and whether you'll need the alarm in the handbag you brought out, and whether you should call a friend to walk you safely home because you know you're vulnerable when you're walking alone. So if you see me in the street, don't ask me for a smile, and don't assume I dress for you or appreciate your vile assertion of ownership on a body that's my own, when all I really want to do is make it safely home. Because I'm already fighting to be here in the first place, without having to worry about a smile upon my face. So don't attempt to hit on me with chauvinistic bile, and before you comment on my shoes, try walking in them for a mile. Okay, this is the straw that broke. Touch me again and I'll kill you, I said, and he reeled back as if he'd been slapped, because women don't talk back to men like that, even now, even here. And I too stood unsure, though I didn't show it. Words fell from my mouth, and before I could slow it, you know what? I won't take this shit anymore. I don't owe you for opening doors or allowing me space to exist. You don't see my clenched fist as you spread your legs in the seat and I have to sit here reet petite because women don't sit like that. With your leg pressed against mine the whole time we're travelling, and I sit here unravelling rather than shoving you away, and you're shocked when I say, touch me again and I'll kill you. Shouting, just let me feel you, from scaffolding on high, and I just walk on by, because I learnt young that that's just a guy, and that's just what guys do, they objectify you, and though it's crushing, you learn to accept it, because if you openly reject it, you know what you'll get, it's slut, prude, bitch, hoe, and so on, until your will to fight erodes, and you know, you standing silent, you know how words can feel like a fist to the face. So this fist rose out of years of provocation. This fist rose from a nation that turns a blind eye. This fist rose to fill you with our fear. So touch me again and I'll kill you, dear.